I was studying at university at the time, and I also really enjoyed doing home renovations. This hobby gave me great satisfaction, and I decided to take it up more seriously. I started working part-time after school and on weekends, repairing things for people in the neighborhood. It wasn't easy to combine school and a part-time job, but eventually, I got involved and started earning my own money. It felt good to be able to support myself a little, and even though my mom and dad could only give me money occasionally, I felt proud of what I was doing. I lived in the city with my parents. My mom worked as a salesman, and my dad worked as a chauffeur for a company. They both worked hard to make sure we had everything we needed. When summer came, I had more time to work as school was ending, and I would take on renovations, which helped me save some extra money. My mom has a sister, and I call her Aunt Susan. The other day, it was her birthday, and she called my mom to invite us to visit. When Aunt Susan called, I happened to be next to my mom and heard that she was planning to throw a nice party and was inviting us all to her house. Aunt Susan is 4 years younger than my mom, and honestly, she looks very good for her age. She takes good care of herself, and you can see that she pays attention to her appearance. She lives with her husband, Peter, and they have no children, which is probably why they always have so much free time. I started thinking about a present for her when we were driving to her birthday party. On the way, I decided to buy flowers and a bottle of champagne as a gift. It seemed like the perfect way to celebrate. When we arrived, Aunt Susan greeted us warmly. We sat for a long time, talking, drinking champagne, and eating a delicious cake that she had baked herself. My dad and Uncle Peter drank stronger drinks, and from time to time, we all went out for a smoke. Aunt Susan's house had a cozy atmosphere, and it was nice to just relax and enjoy the evening. As it got late, we realized we had to head home soon. Before we left, Aunt Susan came up to me and smiled. She was standing quite close, and I was a little confused by her sudden closeness. Yes, of course I can," I replied as she asked if I could help her with some repairs around the house. She mentioned that Peter wasn't very handy, and she could use someone like me. She gave us some food for the road, and we said our goodbyes and headed home. I had some things to finish up at my parents' house before I could come to her rescue. The next morning, I called Aunt Susan and told her I could come over. She was excited and told me to come over anytime. When I arrived, she greeted me with a smile and offered me a cup of coffee. We sat together in the living room and discussed all the details of the repairs she wanted to make. She showed me what needed to be fixed, and we made a plan for the work. The first day went by very quickly, and we got a lot done. Aunt Susan is a very good cook, and throughout the day, she spoiled me with different treats, cakes, sandwiches, fresh lemonade. It was like she was trying to make me feel good and comfortable. On the second day, I arrived in the morning and continued with the repairs. We worked most of the day, and by evening, we had almost finished everything she wanted me to do. I was sitting in the kitchen, and Aunt Susan was fiddling around at the stove, cooking something that smelled amazing. She was dressed casually, in tights and a tank top that emphasized her figure well. I couldn't help but notice how attractive she looked, and when she turned around, she caught my eye. She smiled understandingly, and I felt my face redden with embarrassment. I quickly looked away, pretending to focus on something else, but not for long. When I looked at her again, she was still looking at me, and there was something in her eyes that made my heart race. She walked over to me, and without saying anything, leaned over and hugged me. I could smell the sweet scent of her perfume as she hugged me. I got up from the chair and hugged her back, and this time it was different, more intimate. Seeing that I wasn't embarrassed or resisting, she leaned closer and whispered softly, "Let's go." Her words sent shivers down my spine, and before I knew it, we were headed for the bedroom together. My heart was racing, and it felt like time had slowed down. Everything happened so fast, and then something happened that I least expected, something I never imagined could happen between us. If you liked this story, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss new stories.